Chapter 7. Auf Wiedersehen. The rest of the evening passed in a kind of waking dream. I returned to the ballroom and fulfilled each obligation on my dance card with tolerable young men, though I could not afterward have recalled what any of them said. Between dances, I found Marie. We spoke of everything: her aunt's house near the Tiergarten, the paintings she had seen at the National Gallery, the difficulty of finding decent sheet music in Berlin, Mama's garden, Otto's salon, which I had been excluded from but would now attend. We spoke of books, of music, I made certain that every conversation took place in public. Our time in the library had taught me that I could not trust myself in private with Marie, and I had no intention of testing that conclusion a second time. It was past 3 in the morning when Papa found me near the refreshment table, Marie at my side discussing Schumann's late piano works. "Emilia." He looked tired but not displeased. "I see you have made a friend." "Papa, may I introduce Frau von Czerwinski? Marie, this is my father, Heinrich Knopf."
Papa's expression grew more attentive. "Von Czerwinski? Are you the daughter of Casimir von Czerwinski?"
"I am."
"You are as lovely as your mother." He paused, studying her face. "And are you the widow of Wilhelm von Kessler? As I remember, he married a daughter of Czerwinski."
"I am." Her voice had gone perfectly even. "I was sorry to hear of your loss. We served together in France."
"You are kind to remember him."
The exchange was entirely correct and entirely insufficient. Marie had introduced herself this evening as von Czerwinski, not von Kessler. Most widows retained their married names. It was the convention, the protection of the husband's family and status, even after death. Papa turned back to me. "I'm growing tired, Liebchen. Are you ready to leave?" I looked at Marie. At the face I had only seen unmasked for 3 hours. I did not want to leave. I could have stayed in her company forever. But the evening had to end, and perhaps it was better to leave now, while everything was still extraordinary.
"Yes, Papa." He excused himself to call for Ernst and the carriage.
Marie and I stood facing one another. The ballroom was thinning. The orchestra was probably playing its last set. In an hour or so the house would be dark. "We should have tea," Marie said, "or walk in the Tiergarten. I'm usually there in the afternoons when the weather permits. I would enjoy that very much. Then I will see you again, Fräulein Knopf." In the carriage, I sat across from Papa, who had closed his eyes and settled into the corner with the relief of a man who had survived a long, social evening. My skin still carried the memory of Marie's lips against my neck. My hand remembered the warmth of hers. I wanted to see her again immediately. Tomorrow.
But as the Landauer rolled through the darkened streets toward home, a colder thought arrived.
The 2 people I had found most interesting this evening, the 2 who had shown the most interest in me, were a young Jewish man and a widow. James von Bleichröder had asked permission to call. Marie von Czerwinski had invited me to tea. Both would be considered unsuitable by the standards Hildegard would apply, one because of his birth. The other simply would not do. So perhaps the evening was not such a success after all, not in the terms that mattered to anyone but me. But my dance card was mostly full. That would satisfy Hildegard, and if Hildegard was satisfied, Papa would be as well. I looked out the window at the gaslit streets. I thought of Mama's garden, neglected for all these years, of the promise I had made to myself earlier, looking down at her garden from my window. Tomorrow I would kneel in that dirt with my hands in the earth she had tended.